Hi, I'm Kip Cranna. I'm dramaturg emeritus at San Francisco Opera. That's kind of like a fancy term for scholar in residence. And I'd like to tell you about the class I'm teaching for Ollie Berkeley in June of 2023. Let me call up some slides that will give you a good idea of what the class is about. As you can see, the class is called San Francisco Opera's Centennial, a close look at the summer season. This is San Francisco Opera's 100th season, the 2022 to 2023 season, which marks important anniversaries back in 1922 and 1923, which were the beginning years for San Francisco Opera. In my class, we're going to look at the Centennial season's summer season of 2023, operas specifically chosen to be part of this Centennial celebration. They include Madame Butterfly by Giacomo Puccini, Die Frau ohne Schatten, that is A Woman Without a Shadow by Richard Strauss, and El Último Sueño de Frida y Diego, The Last Dream of Frida and Diego by Gabriela Lina Frank. I'll use video with subtitles to explore these three operas. Starting with the first class on June 5th at 1 p.m., Puccini's Madame Butterfly, one of the most popular operas in the repertoire. We'll take a look at the backstory, which is rather interesting. An American play by a playwright born in San Francisco is the source for this story. Here's a shot from the production. This is the wedding scene. Of course, the young geisha in Japan marries an American naval officer with tragic consequences. Then in the second class, we'll start by looking at Richard Strauss's Die Frau ohne Schatten, The Woman Without a Shadow. That means a woman who is unable to bear children. It's a sort of a phantasmagorical fairy tale, one of Strauss's most unusual operas, which has an important history in connection with San Francisco Opera. Here's a shot from the production by the famous British artist David Hockney. Very fairy tale-like. Here's another one that emphasizes that phantasmagorical atmosphere. In that same class, we'll look at Gabriela Lina Frank's The Last Dream of Frida and Diego. She is a Berkeley-born composer, lives in Boonville here in Northern California. There she is on the left, and on the right is her librettist. That is the guy who wrote the words, Nilo Cruz. The Last Dream of Frida and Diego, of course, deals with the famous artists, Diego Rivera and Frida Kahlo, and their rather tortured relationship. On June 19th, we'll have no class because we'll be celebrating Juneteenth that day. And then on the 26th, we will take a look at San Francisco Opera at 100, a look back at the last century of this important company. We'll go back to the 1922 Stanford season where it all began, and we'll take a look at the first official season of San Francisco Opera in 1923 at what we now call the Bill Graham Civic Auditorium. There's the War Memorial Opera House, the way it looked when it opened in 1932. There's how it looked on the inside. Here's how it looks now. I think we have a very bright future ahead of us in our next 100 years, and I hope you'll join me on Monday afternoons at 1 p.m. to explore all this. So that's it. Thanks for listening. I'm Kip Cranna, and I hope to see you in June.